Okay, this is Mike James again, and these are the few things I like to give out there. To make a lasting change, you have to really accept the fact that everything is not going to play out the same way that you want it to play out. You just need to accept that. And number two, you have to accept the fact that people are going to leave you. These are normal thing about life. People come and go. People are going to leave you. So if you are afraid, if you're the kind of person that is constantly afraid of people leaving you or the fear of being alone, you're not going to move forward. I know that it's not everybody that has this gift of saying, I can do it by myself. Now, there are people that doesn't have that kind of gift of to say, I can do it by myself. So my advice to this kind of people is that join a bigger pile. What I mean a bigger pile is that forge relationship with people, if it's in business or if it's in what area that you want to make those changes on, and you really feel that you really can do it by yourself, form a bigger collaborations. Working on yourself is actually very hard. It's a hard thing to do. Most people can speak about the notion of working on yourself, but that is one thing that's also very hard for a lot of people to do, because the process of working on yourself requires focus, requires a lot of determination, and requires a lot of a certain kind of mindset to allow you to grow into that person you want to be. And what is it that you want to work on yourself? It's always on that area that you feel that your strengths are not there. Then you start making progress to what you can do to improve those areas. So working on yourself is very important if you want to make a change or if you want to rewrite history. You want to stop all the time going after what people say and what other people do and trying to be like other people, to working on yourself. Then you can be able to make a change. The processes are usually designed and set by companies or by people, whereby when you are in a frame of process, then you know that every time that you want to develop a certain thing, it's going to start from 1 to 2 to 3. There is a process, but most people don't have processing. To make change, you want to develop a process of developing yourself. And when you develop a process where you develop yourself will become something that you become proud of. And developing yourself, again, it's not something that's always easy. You will need people to work with you. And back to the subject of being among a bigger pile. If it's in business, if you are alone, for example, and you want to grow your business to a certain level, maybe you're running out of finance or something, or maybe you're running out of ideas, or maybe you've started and you failed a couple of times or many times and you just don't know how to do it anymore. You need to form an ally with people that has the heart and the courage to work with you and will not judge you. Now, this is the most difficult one. Focus. Focus sounds easy. A lot of people, it's out there. It's a general word that we use every day. Focus, focus, focus. I struggle sometimes with my focus. And sometimes when you get distracted, especially with an era of social media and everything that's just running loose on social media and every form of entertainment or just at a click of a finger. So that is another distraction. Before we got to the era of social media, there were still struggle where people were still struggling with focus. This is not a generation that just invented focus. Focus has been there as long as human history has been. So now focus has been the center of every growth I have ever seen or have heard any man had. And the inability to focus will draw you backward or will set you in a place whereby years and after years you think you're moving forward, but you're running a cycle. When is the time that people usually like give up and say, I'm out, I'm older than this, I'm too old and I can't change nothing about this anymore? It's always a time where people are already past 40 or 45. They're still struggling. But I want to speak to young people. If you're still in your age between 20, 18, 19, 20, and you're still going up, develop characters that will sustain you along the way. Develop a mindset that will sustain you. Develop a kind of focus that will sustain you. Because as we grow older, one thing that is always predominant in our characters are always what we got growing up. People don't change that much when they get to 45, 50. Seldomly you find people who change in those age, pretty flexible. And a lot of time it's difficult for them to change. It's hard for you to turn a bad marriage. It's hard for you to walk away from a bad marriage or walk away from a company that's been losing. And you just look at how many years you've spent. You spent almost 50 years of your life just doing something that you never loved. So it is important that you build a character that allows you to understand that when I get to a certain point, there are things I quit on. And there are things that when I get to my 50, I stay enjoying. As long as you don't see yourself in your 50s enjoying a certain behavior or enjoying a certain character or enjoying a certain profession, before you get to that stage where you start regretting, change them early. It is a problem that most people have. The inability to be able to identify what they need to work on and what is it they need to focus on. Okay, is it difficult to turn things around? Yes, it is difficult, but it's possible that it can be done. We can change our mindset anytime. A lot of people have become successful, like Kentucky Fried Chicken. The only start making is become a billionaire when he passed 50. There are a lot of people who are making tremendous amount of change in the past 50s, 60s. Why is that? Most people have sown seed from 30s to 40s that bear fruits in their 50s. Most people have sown seed from their 20s, their 30s, their 40s that they finally are reaping in their 50s. No investment, no success are overnight. Even though we've been played to understand that success can be overnight. Based on what you do right now, you can get wealthy tomorrow. A long-term compounding success usually do take time. Whether you're investing in blue chips in the stock market, usually do take time for those investments to yield the profit that you really need or sustain you along down the line. For you to develop that kind of concentration and that kind of ability, start early. Start learning the things that you need to learn that you know that they're going to serve you to your retirement. And don't wait until you get to that point and you say, I have a lot of chance. I can do whatever I want to do. I can go wherever I want to go. Life can always give me second chance. Don't get me wrong. Second chance, yes, you can always get that, but sometimes they're not guaranteed that you will. So instead of playing your card and just thinking that tomorrow is always going to be the way you want them, just play your card today and just hope that tomorrow will bring something better. Next is teach yourself the strength to endure. The inability to endure is one of the things that gets people down. Patience, endurance. If you do not have endurance is one that you have internally, and you can build endurance externally. Some people are not built to endure for any pain. And as long as you can endure pain, life will come on you in a certain way that you haven't seen before. Because it doesn't matter what plane you are, where you're born, or where you're raised, life happens to everybody. From the west to the north to the south, everywhere. Life is the same. Making money opportunities can be available readily to a lot of people in the West, but that doesn't mean that everybody has the same opportunity. It doesn't mean that everybody has the same opportunity. So, as long as that is the fact about life, it boils down to one thing, that we are not created equal. Yes, we are created equal, but we are created equal, but we will not live equal. What is going to make you qualify for something is what you do, is the decision that you make. And the decision that you make will set the table for you. And if you make the wrong decisions, and if you don't are not able to adjust and build strength for where you're going, then you will always end up on the side of the corner where you feel that life isn't fair. But life is the same chips that's been handed to everybody. I know luck plays a lot of role. Me sitting here today, I'm a product of luck, for which I would not be here. Work on your mindset. The mind is the greatest asset that we all have, and we know that already. It's been 100 billion words written about the mind and how people use the mind to attract the things that they want, or how you can position yourself, and your mind can just bring you the peace that you want. All of that are true. But not everybody is still able to use their mind the way they need to use it, because the nutrients that flows through our mind, that sends waves and signals, and the things that flows into thought that we think about. You can imagine that most of the thought that we think about in our 40s and 50s are the same thought that we've thought about when we were younger age. The same thing that you remember, that the same thing that our mothers and our fathers, they taught us when we were growing up, is the same behavior that we end up literally having to possess. No matter what we do, how much we change. Develop your mind in a way that it allows you to be able to filter informations. Yes, that you can filter informations and know what is it that you really want to apply, and the things that you want to use in your life. It does not matter who raised you, whether it was a mom, whether it as a single mom or a single dad, or whether you're raised by a complete family or by a stranger. Filter the informations that you have and grab every opportunity that's been given you, no matter how difficult they are. If you fail to use opportunities when they're handed to you, you always discover that, because the problem with some people is just the arrogance of thinking that it's too hard, because they've not been developed to build strength to withstand information, or to build strength to withstand the journey ahead of them. And the only way that you build strength is by the people around you. If you're around weak people and weak characters, you develop the same. If you're around people with strong characters, you will develop the same. The environment that you are has a way of shaping the future that you become. Think about that.